first thing I'm going to do, which is a little bit different, I'm going to give each candidate 1 minute to introduce themselves before we start asking questions. That's a little bit different than we normally do, but I think it can be effective. The next thing, each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. You already saw Dave and what he's going to be doing to you. I'm not sure about you jumping up and down, but he's going to let you know when your time's up. And it is important that we do abide by those limits. And if not, I will have to cut you off. We will rotate. In other words, I'll ask you the first question. Next question, I'll ask you the first time. Okay, at the conclusion of the forum, you're going to have 3 to 4 minutes to present statements about your candidacy and explain why you were running for office. We probably better make it 3 minutes. Where's Teresa?
It's 3 minutes by the rules.
3 minutes is normally what we do. Where's Teresa? Oh, 3 minutes? Okay. Okay, let's start. First question.
Introduction.
You want to start with the 1 minute introduction?
Teresa can go first. Since one up doesn't have it.
Okay. My name is Teresa Brown. I'm the current interim treasurer for Alleghany County. I was born and raised here in Alleghany County in the Bowling Springs area, attended the county schools and the local college. Then started in the treasurer's office 12 years ago, and I am glad to be here this evening and introduce myself to you and try to give you some insight on the treasurer's office and the treasurer's duties.
Is that mic working? Can you?
Yours not on.
Is it not working?
We can share it. This one seems to be working.
My light's on, but let's see.
Lights on, nobody's home?
Nobody's home. Try that.
Do I need to start over? Go ahead. Do I get another minute? Do I get another
Did
minute
everybody
to
hear
shout
what
out?
she said? Yeah, we're okay.
Okay.
Does that
Okay.
work now to try?
Just give it a tap.
Still not working.
It's-
Here, we'll just share.
Okay, we'll share them.
Yeah.
We're,
All right.
no fights.
We're hospitable.
Hey, Charlie.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Crowder. Is this too loud? Is this better? Okay. My name is Charles Rusmisel. I do want to thank Richard, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Women's Club for helping putting this on. It warms my heart to see so many people out here. You know, I was born and raised just not here in this community. My wife and I moved here 25 years ago in '94. And to be back on this stage is familiar ground for me, to be honest. I was a PTO president here, and I want to be your treasurer. And I want to be your treasurer not because I think that there's something wrong or something needs to be done better in what's being done in the treasurer's office, but I do think changes can be made. I believe that the constituents, the voters of this community, are the bosses of the treasurer and all of our elected officials. And the elected officials should do their job, not just their statutory requirements, not just doing what they need to do, and the treasurer, what the Board of Supervisors and the state of Virginia mandates, but also doing what they can to support our community, to make things easier for our citizens, to make things more efficient for our citizens. And that's why I'm running. I want to leverage technology to make things better for our community, so that those from the outside, when they look at it, say, that technology corridor means something. Those folks are innovators. I thank you for coming tonight.
All right, Charlie, we'll start with you with the first question. What is the true job of the treasurer?
The treasurer is a constitutional officer whose primary responsibility is to collect the monies due to the county and the state and remit those funds to where they need to go. Property taxes, personal property taxes, real estate taxes, fees for dog licenses, business license, food tax, are all collected in the treasurer's office. Treasurer does not set rules, or they do not set tax rates. Their job is simply to collect that money as efficiently as possible, hold it in bank accounts for the county, and then remit it where it needs to. Those monies due to the state through income tax or other fees need to be remitted to the state on a timely manner, and those fees and expenses of the county mandated by the Board of Supervisors are paid out by the treasurer. That is the primary responsibility of the treasurer.
Teresa?
Sorry.
I'm in agreement with Charlie. The treasurer does collect and disperse revenues for the Board of Supervisors for the county. We do collect state revenues and disperse those as well. But with that being said, there's a lot of minor details too that go along with being a treasurer. There are reports, there's reconciliation, there's accountability to not only the taxpayers, but also, you know, to the board and to the county. I'm sorry, I'm not a very good speaker. I know my job, just not good at explaining it. Another thing that the treasurer's office and the treasurer is responsible for is the investment of idle funds. And that can be done in many different ways. The treasurer's office is there to help the taxpayers if they need to make payments, if they need to make suggestions to improve things, that we can take those suggestions and ideas to our Board of Supervisors and hope to improve.
Okay, thank you. This question is yours, Teresa. What improvements do you plan to make in the treasurer's office?
For improvements, a lot of improvements depends upon what the county, the Board of Supervisors and the county administrators can improve upon and provide the funding for new technology. The technology software program that we have now is antiquated, but it is a county-wide. All of the departments use this, and I would be more than happy to and be on one of the first ones of getting something implemented and getting something going on improving our technology. Another thing we need to improve on in the treasurer's office, I believe, is our safety, our emergency preparedness. We need to work with the sheriff's office and get some tips in this day and time of active shooters, and just to protect not only ourselves but the taxpayers that come in.
You, Charlie?
Thank you. To step back to the last question on the job of the treasurer, one of the things that Teresa had mentioned about was the accountability of the treasurer's office. Now, I've worked my entire career in finance. I came here running a $120 million bank for First Union Bank, managing an office of people where we manage transactions on a daily basis in an accurate manner. We were audited on a weekly basis, not a monthly basis, and on a nightly basis by our back office. Accountability to the taxpayer, to the Board of Supervisors, to the state, to make sure funds are going where they go and where they need to go, I thought, and I still think, is the simplest part of the job and should not even be a qualification because it has to be done. There's no reason not to have that. So on all the technology and on investable funds, my current job is as a financial consultant. My day-to-day is investing money for individuals and small businesses. To invest the idle funds of the county in either treasury services with financial institutions or individual securities, there is no doubt. I have the experience to not only put that in place to make sure that those service providers we use are providing us with the best service at the lowest cost. On improvements, I plan to leverage technology. Teresa has said, and we've had this conversation, I've had it as well with other treasurers, that the software systems we currently have are antiquated. My goodness, we can't hardly do anything in this county because we're just doing things with chalkboards and chalk. Well, let's change that. If the Board of Supervisors are recalcitrant, will not make the changes necessary to provide the services our county needs, someone needs to be a voice for that. If that's going to be me, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to talk with our Board of Supervisors and tell them why it not only makes sense, but why it's profitable and beneficial for our county to come kicking and screaming to the 21st century to provide the services our constituents deserve. They pay for them after all. There may be an initial cost, but I think long-term savings, technology can put us in a better stead. Thank you.
All right, Charlie, this question's yours. Does the treasurer determine land use, which determines tax rate?
That is a question outside my expertise, but I do believe they do not determine land use. That land use is determined in the Commissioner of Revenue. Teresa will probably know that better than me, but I don't know. But I believe here at this county, we do have a county attorney and a county administrator that anytime I have a question of something of that nature, I can point them in the right direction. One thing I will tell you, if as treasurer someone comes in with a question I don't know the answer to, I will not say it's someone else's job. I will get them the answer. I won't say go talk to the county administrator or the Commissioner of Revenue. I'll say thank you for bringing that question to me. I'm going to find out where your answer lies. Give me your name, number, and I'll get it back to you. Thanks.
Teresa?
Yes, the land use is done through the Commissioner of Revenue's office. It's based on the assessments, and the only thing then the treasurer's going to do from their assessment is make sure it's collected. We also send out delinquent notices to these landowners in the spring to notify them that they are delinquent and they have until a certain amount of time to bring their accounts current, or they'll be disqualified from the land use program. And then at that point, we do forward that information to the Commissioner of Revenue's office. So it's very important for the Treasurer's office and the Commissioner of Revenue's office to work together for its assessments.
Okay, Teresa, this is for you. Tell us why you are the better candidate for treasurer.
I believe that my years of experience in the treasurer's office have prepared me for being the treasurer and leading the office. I did start back in 2008. I do have 12 years of experience. I started as just a deputy clerk, just taking your money and processing your payments. Over the years, I have worked in the various positions of the office, from overseeing the water bills, water billing, water collections, delinquent collections, bank reconciliations, budgeting, and now since I've been interim treasurer, preparing and seeing that the tax tickets get mailed out on time. So I would say that my years of experience and my knowledge, working knowledge of the office, make me the better candidate.
Charlie?
Firstly, I want to say, and I've said this many times, I've said it to Teresa as well, my complaint is not with the performance of the treasurer's office as it is. The people in the treasurer's office are excellent civil servants that do their job as it's supposed to be done. They do it efficiently. But why I think I'm the better candidate is because I see the inefficiencies that are not being done at the treasurer's office. I see the opportunity for improvement, and I see the need for it. When I first moved here 25 years ago, there were people that told me, You'd never be accepted as an insider. You'll never be a local here because you weren't born and raised here. There's a lot of disadvantage to that because it's true in some respects. There's some advantage to that as well. Because not being born and raised here, I see how things are done elsewhere. I see how things are improved elsewhere, and I wonder why not here? Why are we not doing something that could be done? Now, I've not worked in the treasurer's office before, but I started my financial career in 1994 as a bond trader for Dominion Bank. I was trading hundreds of millions of dollars of bonds for individuals and businesses and municipalities on a daily basis. My experience in finance is decades. My ability to do the job, to account for money coming in and going out, is unquestioned. I've run banks. I run a $90 million investment portfolio. I have the ability and knowledge to do this job, but I also have the passion to change how this job is being done, to do something for the citizens that I think needs to be done, and not just when you're paying your water bill or your property tax bill. But if we're going to attract people when they come to our website, either as a small business or a corporation, and they look at Allegany's website and they say, let me look at tax rates. Let me pull up the treasurer's site and see what's going on there. It's not a very welcoming and inviting place to go. And you can go to any county around us, and it has online cut-throughs and a lot of information that we don't offer. That needs to change.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. This question is yours. This is an interesting question. What is the proposed solution for the budget issues regarding the city of Covington not wanting to pay the percentages they have in the past?
What kind of question did you say that was?
Interesting.
What?
Interesting.
That's an interesting question, all right, and it's interesting in the respect that it is not part of the treasurer's purview. Now, I could give you my personal opinion as to what the city should be doing or what the county should be doing, how the board of supervisors or the city council should be working together or apart. I could talk at length about that. But as a treasurer, that's not my job. It is not my job to determine where monies come from and where monies go. Commissioner of Revenue determines where they come from. The board of supervisors determines where they go, or the state of Virginia in the respect that monies due the state. I do not have a say as a treasurer as to what the city should be paying or what the county should be expecting from them. As a citizen, I have an opinion, but you're not here to hear my opinions. Otherwise, we'll be talking about football.
Okay, Teresa.
I agree. I don't have an opinion as to how those funds had come about as a treasurer, that we would have nothing to do with that. Again, as Charlie said, it's just the Commissioner of Revenue's office assessing. We doing our collections in the treasurer's office, and the board deciding how to spend the taxpayer's dollar and setting the rates. So that is something that the treasurer has no control over.
Okay, thank you. That's the last question, unless somebody wants to jot one down and pass it back to, well, where'd they go?
She's up right now. Where Waldo?
So anyway, we're down to the closing. You'll have 3 minutes, and I'll start with Teresa to tell us why you're running for office and cover anything maybe that you didn't get to cover during the question and answer session.
Well, again, I just want to say that I welcome the opportunity to use my knowledge and my experience to become the next treasurer. And I can promise you that I will be a voice for the taxpayers, as well as in going to the Board of Supervisors and speaking to the county administrator. And just making sure that your funds and that your tax dollars are well kept and looked over. I can't control what they might spend it on, but I can make sure that they have the proper documentation and the proper signatures to do those expenditures. I would like for the treasurer's office to be a place where if someone comes in and has a question, that they will feel welcome and that we will receive a knowledgeable answer. I've had to do that quite a bit since July 1. And sometimes it is taking a name and a phone number and doing your research and telling somebody, hey, dog tags back in February of 1960 is when that was enacted, and this is what your $8 is going for. There's just all kinds of challenges in the treasurer's office each and every day, and I would pledge to do my best. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. I reiterate that. I certainly thank you all for coming out. I appreciate the questions. I tell you, when I first went up there was only one question for the treasurer, and I thought, my goodness, I'm going to have to sing a song. I have to do a dance. Thank goodness that didn't come to that, because I can't do either. But I do want your vote in November, because I'm confident that I can do the treasurer's job, and I can do it well. And I can do it with you in mind. You know, when I think about when I first moved here in '94, and those several folks who told me, you'll never be a part of this community. Well, I started volunteering, and all of a sudden I was a part of a lot of things. PTO president, March of Dimes Sport, Greater Alleghany United Fund president. I've done lots of things, but I've done them because I enjoy being a part of this community. I do them because I want our community to be a better and more vibrant place. I'm doing this now for the same reason. I don't need to run for the treasurer's office. I've got a job. But I think that we need to step out of our comfort zone as citizens, and we have a civic responsibility to do what we can to improve our communities. Now, I can tell you, I do honestly believe, I don't think you have a bad vote in the treasurer's election. If I don't get elected, I don't think Allegheny is going to be in any kind of trouble whatsoever. I have confidence in Teresa, but I also have confidence in myself. And I have confidence that in my ability, not just to do the job, but to talk to the people on the Board of Supervisors, to talk to the people on City Council. You know, the county treasurer has nothing to do with the City Council, but I've talked to the folks on the City Council about a number of things already. The county treasurer has nothing to do with what goes on at Botetourt or Rockbridge or Roanoke or Richmond or Augusta, but I've talked to those treasurers' offices already. The state has a national state treasurers association. I've talked to the board of the Treasurer Association. I've asked them, these are the things I want to do. How do other counties get these things implemented? How do we get them implemented? They said, we got programs. We got people that can help. We got direction we can send you to. Now, I've got a full-time job, but I'm still doing that because I want the job and I want to make changes. I want to make improvements. You know, stewardship is a word that may not mean a lot to folks. But to me, you're going to be a good steward of your time, your community, and the job that you do. You've got to invest yourself in it. I invest myself in this community. I will invest myself in this job. When you hire me as your treasurer, it's not going to be just so I can collect your money and send out the money as the Board of Supervisors says. Now, certainly that's the treasurer's job. But it's so I can try to implement those things that help our constituencies, to help you as citizens, to make your payments on an easier basis. We do have online payment and now a click-through on our website, but it's a third-party provider that charges a fee. It's a bit higher than you would charge than Walmart charges for their credit cards. Why is that? Let's leverage our balances in banks. Let's.
Okay, that's it.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for your time. Sorry, I wasn't looking at you.
That's pretty much it for the treasurer. I'm sure you guys are going to hang around and answer questions one-on-one after
Sure.
this is over.
Yeah.
I guess we can move right into the sheriff candidates, and that's Kevin Hall and David Williams. If they want to come on up, we'll get situated so we can get started here.